Hey, this is Andrew, and I wanted to record a demo to show you how painless it is to take a collection of models that you have in a bullet train app and make it so that your users can reorder and sort those models by dragging and dropping in your user interface. So we have this album as an example, and this album has a number of photos that I've uploaded some random photos, but there's no way of resorting or reordering these images right now. So let's get started. I'm first going to start by generating a migration to add the sort order to the photos, and we'll get that started. So we'll generate the migration, and then we'll migrate that to the database. Now, I'm going to go through this as quickly as possible to show how simple a process this is, and then I can circle back around in another video and kind of explain the internals of how this is implemented so that developers better understand it. So we're migrating this to the database. And there it is. It's in the database. So now the next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to go into the view for showing that album. And in that view, we have this partial that's included for the account photos index. So we will open the photos index. And in this context now, we have all of the photos rendered, and the photos are even a little partial. It's a card. And so we'll open that. And in this context, we have this image. What we need to do here is add as a data attribute the ID of the photo. Why is that important? Well, I'll show you. If we go up one level, we have this class that contains all of these photos. And in here, we want to do data reorder. And let me just double check. In fact, I think I already had it here. Data reorder. And we'll add a URL helper to get to the reorder action of the account album photos route. So this is the collection is photos. This is the resource that collection is on. And this is the account namespace for all these authenticated controllers. So we want to say that when we reorder these photos, they get that order of those photos gets posted to, and this is the URL helper. It gets posted to the reorder action and it's a collection action for photos. So there we go. So we've added that to the view. And now what you see when we reload this file, we get an error. Why? Because this route doesn't exist yet. Okay, so how do we add the route? We'll open up our routes and go to photos. And in this case, what we'll do is we'll add a concern. And the concern is sortable. Well, where does the sortable concern come from? It's defined up here. And what it does is it adds to whatever routes are including this concern, it adds a post for this reorder action. So we have sortable, and there's an example right in this file of how to do this. But let's just double check that we've got that correct. Concerns resortable on photos. Great. Now this page should work. All right. So now we're here, and look what we can do. Now we can drag and drop and reorder our photos. But there's a problem. When we do that, it is going to do an error. And why is there an error? It's because there's no reorder action. So how do we get the reorder action on the account photos controller? So we'll do account photos controller. It's pretty simple. We just include this module, sortable actions, and there's a corresponding module for models. So the photo needs to be sortable. And then now let's see where we are. So we'll clear our console. We will refresh this page. And let's see if that worked. And it did. It set the sort order on these photos. That's great. But there's still a problem. Look, I'm going to take the Rodriguez family and move them to be the first photo. And oh, where did it go? Well, we're not presenting these photos in the view in sort order. And so we have a helper for that. And you'll find this in the sortable concern. There's a helper that we define called in sort order. So what we want to do is go to the index or the show action where we have specified that we want to include the photos partial, and the photos should be this album of photos. We need to put them in sort order. And now look what happens. And if we move them here, boom. If we move this photo to the front, boom. All right, so we have drag and drop sorting. There's only one other problem, and that is for uploading a new photo, how will it define its sort order? And so if we try this right now, if we try to upload a photo, it won't set the sort order properly. Why? Let me show you. We need to define in the, there's a template method in the sortable concern called collection. And so the collection needs to be defined, and I'll show you what that means. When we have a photo, the collection is the album photos. We need to tell the sortable concern, what collection am I a part of? And what it can do then is it goes through and it will check, it will assign its sort order as the maximum sort order in the current collection. So any new photos will automatically go at the end. So that's it. Super simple. We've been working on this for 7 minutes, and we now have drag and drop sortable images. And it could be anything. This doesn't just work on photos. It works on table rows, things like that, other divs or whatever cells you have. So all that is required is that the drag and drop resource is sort of contained in a div that has that reorder URL supplied, and then the JavaScript picks up on this all automatically. And yeah, it works great. So that is the kind of thing that we can do when we know all of your views, all of your controllers, all of your models. When we kind of know how those are structured and set up, it becomes really easy to provide features like this out of the box. If you have any questions, hit me up. Be happy to answer those for you. Thanks.